there's controversy surrounding the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I need a drink. Yep. Yep, that right there. That was Coke Zero, by the way. Don't take this video down. I don't drink. On camera.
Hello, maggots.
I just got back from seeing the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and it was fine. I don't know what's going on online. I saw this movie and then I instantly went to log it on Letterboxd as the 2.5-star ordeal it was, just to see that every single review was either like 5 stars or people acting like it was some sort of affront to cinema. And I would just like to establish my opinion on the Mario franchise as a whole before we begin this review. I think this says enough about the kind of person I am. I also think the fact that I don't own the first animated feature on DVD or Blu-ray says a lot because I only have the 90s movie, but that's neither here nor there. I honestly thought it was a fine movie. Quite frankly, I don't understand why half the internet is acting like it's the Emoji Movie 2, and the other half is acting like it's the fucking Godfather. It's the Super Mario Galaxy movie, my guy. The first one wasn't that groundbreaking either. This one's just kind of a little bit worse. This one has far less of a plot than the first, if I'm gonna be completely honest. It's just kind of loosely strung together references that vaguely shape themselves into a storyline. I have no problem with that, especially considering I didn't have the highest of expectations going into this. Would I have liked it to be better? Yes, because I do think that children deserve higher quality entertainment. I think anyone that's taking the time out of their day to violently hate this movie and go online and bully people who enjoyed it are losers, and I also think the people who are harassing the people who don't like it are also losers. No one on the internet can be normal about an opinion. I was quite frankly partially disappointed in this movie, but as I said, I wasn't expecting much because it's the sequel to the fucking Mario Bros movie, dude. Not you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're never getting a second one of you. No matter how much of a underrated cult classic you are. And yes, there's gonna be slight spoilers in this because I am gonna talk about the fact that Brie Larson's Rosalina was at the front of this marketing campaign and she was there for all of like 10 fucking minutes. The voice acting was fine, except for Chris Pratt, who at this point has seemingly given up on even doing the semblance of a Brooklyn accent that he had done in the previous film. Sometimes he's doing it, but half the time it just sounds like he's mumbling into the mic half asleep.
Mamma mia.
Okay, maybe that's hyperbole, but you get what I mean. Donald Glover was great because I knew he was gonna be great because I've seen Community and I'm not stupid. Charlie Day was okay. I think that's his name. He plays Luigi. He's good. He's good. I don't fucking know who voiced Bowser Jr. and I'm not looking it up, but it was a good vocal performance. Brie Larson was great for all of the 7 seconds she was on screen, and Peach was fine. They've also completely run back on the statement that they're going to be keeping Mario and Peach completely platonic, which I knew was bullshit from the beginning because that's like saying that Cinderella and Prince Charming are just roommates. My theater experience was fine, nothing against reading cinemas, it was okay. It was an Easter Saturday, they were clearly understaffed because, you know, public holiday, extended weekend. But there were a lot of families in the theater. It wasn't booked out because we did go in Lux, which have the recliners, which I do like. But there were a lot of families and a lot of children. None of the families were too disruptive aside from one baby who periodically kept crying throughout the entire movie. But that didn't bother me too much due to the fact I have no issue tuning out babies crying, thanks to my lack of maternal instinct for anything that isn't Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's my daughter right there. I love her dearly. And I could give her a great home if they just let me. Anyway, as I was saying, the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. The plot was mostly just references vaguely strung together, but the animation was beautiful as always. That's one thing you can rely on with Illumination movies, is for some reason, the plot is always lackluster, but they really are just hiring some of the best animators. I don't know what it is. They just do not give a fuck about writing anything good, but they do give a lot of fucks about making something pretty. One thing I truly don't understand is why nerds are so unwilling to allow themselves to enjoy something bad while admitting that it is bad, because quite frankly, this movie is very mediocre. Some would say bad. But it's okay if you like it. Like, genuinely, I don't know why so many people are freaking out about the fact that people are calling this movie mediocre or bad. Because, quite frankly, It's quite mediocre, and in some respects, bad. The plot is bad. Why? Because it's not there. I hate to break it to you, but this children's movie is kind of mid as hell. And I'm not gonna act like I didn't add it to my liked on Letterboxd, okay? I had a fun time with this movie, but even I can admit it's bad, and I have no problem admitting when the movies I like are bad. I have no problem with people laughing at my taste in movies, bitch. I have Bridget Jones and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre both in my Letterboxd top 4. Do you think I give a fuck about people's perception of my movie opinions? No, because I'm my own person, and if I want to give A Million Ways to Die in the West 4.5 stars on Letterboxd, I'm gonna fucking do it! Why are so many people scrambling for the approval of others? You can just like a movie that a lot of other people don't like. It's not gonna kill you to not have a popular opinion, and you don't have to threaten people over the fact that their opinion is different than yours. Quite frankly, I was really hoping that it was gonna be better than it turned out to be. I was cautiously optimistic, and I think the caution was very wise of me. Because quite frankly, no matter how much I love Nintendo thanks to the fact I grew up with it, this movie is painfully mediocre. And sometimes it's okay to admit that you like something that's mediocre. This movie is almost exclusively fan service, so if you're a fan, you're probably gonna have a good time with it. Even if you were slightly disappointed and expecting more from this sequel, I still think there's some substance there for you to latch onto, even if it is just in the visuals, which, as I said, are gorgeous. But I also think it's completely fine to be mad about the fact this wasn't better. I mean, I think it's important that we have high-quality children's entertainment, because children deserve high-quality pieces of media to keep them entertained. They don't just deserve slop. Most of the jokes in this movie just kind of fell flat. Most of the comedy in this movie just wasn't there. It just wasn't where it needed to be for it to truly be funny. There were a few jokes that did give me a giggle, but there were a lot of jokes that probably would have been better if they were just allowed to linger a little bit longer. Like, I think that joke at the information desk would have been better if we just like lingered on it a little longer. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of modern movies struggle with, is knowing when a joke needs to last longer versus when a joke needs to last a shorter amount of time. You need to be able to detect when a joke should probably go on for a little bit longer and when it should be cut. Because at baseline concept, it was funny. It gave me a chuckle. But also, it would have been funnier if it just went on for like a little too long. It was just a little too short for it to really achieve what it wanted to achieve. And I think that's the main issue with this movie. There's so many things that are happening that are interesting, but we just don't really have enough time with any of them for them to actually, you know, give anything of substance to the narrative. Like, there's a part in this movie where fucking Mario, Luigi, Toad, Bowser, and Yoshi crash land on whatever the fucking honeybee planet is from Mario Galaxy, because this entire movie is just built on references. And they low-key genuinely kind of destroy like a fuck ton of their planet. Go to the Queen to like get something, and the Queen is like, no, you're under arrest. And then Bowser's like, no, I'll serve the sentence. Let them go. And he only serves like 5 milliseconds of a sentence before being abducted by Bowser Jr. and going back to being evil. Like, his whole thing through the first portion of this movie was just him being like, I'm good now. I'm working on myself. Just for like 2 milliseconds of his son being like, Dad, I love you. Do you want to destroy the galaxy and commit genocide? For him to be like, I'm evil again. Like, why? Genuinely, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But you know what? Maybe that was the Jack Black peeking through, because we know how he feels about genocide. At the end of the day, this movie was slightly disappointing, kind of mediocre, and it's okay if you liked it. And it's also okay if you don't like it. Because it's a fucking children's movie. And at the end of the day, opinions on a fucking children's movie are not serious enough for us to be threatening each other. Anyway, follow me on Letterboxd or whatever, I don't fucking know. Also, I have a TikTok. That's probably where you know me from. I'm a lot more annoying there.